Well, hello again, my mini Michelangelos. You know, it's been a long time since I've made one of these videos, but recently I got a request to draw something, and it was my favorite kind of request because it was a request to draw something that I've loved drawing ever since I was a little kid. And that is a drawing of my favorite superhero, Iron Man. So if you're feeling super, and if you're in the mood to draw, we'll get started. I'm going to get started on my picture by putting a little mark along the top of my paper to show where the top of his head is, and also a couple of marks along the bottom to show where his feet are. Also, if I decide where his waist is, I know that I won't have any real major proportion problems. So I'm going to put his waist right about in the middle, and I'm going to make a box that goes about halfway up to the head. Can be a little bit less, but maybe about halfway up to the head. And I'm drawing a little bit darker than I should, just so that you can see it. And instead of just drawing a square, I'm going to make the box just a little bit bigger towards the top, so he looks a little bit more heroic. Now he's got a broad chest and a small waist, like superheroes do. From here, I'm going to give him even broader shoulders, and I'm drawing everything pretty light so that even if it's correct, I may want to erase it. It's just a guideline. There's his shoulders. His head, I've already decided where the top of his head is, so I'm going to draw a circle or an oval to get the basic shape. And it goes all the way almost down to that body shape that I made. From here, I'm going to draw the neck, and all I have to do are two lines that come straight down and make them a little bit smaller than the head. Now I'm going to work on his lower body. I'm going to go from his waist pretty much with a straight line all the way down to where his feet are. Well, now I have his body and I have the outline of his legs. So right at the bottom, I'm going to draw just two half circles for his feet. Once I have the feet, I'm going to go and draw the inside of his legs. And when I do this, I want them to be a little bit bigger on top and a little bit smaller where the ankles are, because his thighs are going to be bigger and the smallest part of his legs are going to be down around the ankles. And I'm going to do this on both sides. And if the line is wrong, then just redraw another line, and then keep the line that you like and erase the line that you don't like. But now I have the basic shape of his body. I'm going to put him in a heroic pose, so I'm going to put his hands right along his waist. Well, now that I have his shoulders and his hands, I'm just going to connect them with a straight line that goes from the shoulder, and it angles out a little bit, not straight down, it angles out a little bit to show where his elbow is going to be. And then from there, I'm going to go from the elbow right to the hand. Maybe I will give a little curved line right here. And just like the leg, the smallest part of the leg, if you remember, was the ankle. So the smallest part of the arm is the wrist. So the arm is going to get a little bit smaller near the wrist. And it's going to be bigger, of course, towards the top where his bicep is. Maybe I'll do a little bit of this muscle here on top. So I'll go from the shoulder to about halfway up the neck, right there. And then from here, I'll do that. And one of the details that our superhero needs, if it's Iron Man, he has to have his power source. I'll draw the muscles for his chest. And then I'll go from here to the shoulder. Go from that center circle to his shoulder. Maybe I will draw a curve right here and another curve right here. And I'll put some lines. I'll put 2 lines across the middle. Okay, so I'll go from his hip to right here where his legs meet. And maybe I'll put a detail right here. And one thing that I've noticed over the years is that Iron Man's appearance has changed an awful lot. So this is a detail. I'm going to put a couple lines right here going straight across. That's a detail that was there back in the comic books from when I was a kid. But like I said, the details that you draw can be from one of the movies or the comic book or any kind of detail that you think looks right. I'm going to put, let's see, a couple circles right in the middle of his leg to show where his knees are. Maybe a few lines to show some of the detail to make it look like it's a suit of armor. Maybe a line here, a line right there. But you can make lines and details, little seams and rivets and bolts, any place that you want. Next, I'm going to put just a couple little lines to show his fingers. And if you want to, you can put some curves right here. I'm just going to make 1, 2, 3 lines. And then put some curves right here to make it look like fingers. And finally, we're going to draw his head. We're going to start with the eyes. And don't make the eyes too far up. A lot of times people have the tendency to make the eyes near the top of the head, but actually they should be about halfway down. So I'm just going to draw 2 rectangles for his eyes that are right about in the middle of his head. I'm going to give him these strong looking cheekbones right here. They angle over and then go straight down. And then just another rectangle for his mouth. The top of his head, right in the middle, I'm going to make a letter V, but I'm going to cut a little bit of it off. And then I'm going to go from the top of my V, which doesn't quite go to the top of his head. And then I'm just going to follow along the curve of the top part of his head. I'm going to add just a couple more little details. I'm going to put a couple little rectangles along the side of his head for his ears. Well, my Iron Man is completely drawn, and now I like the way he looks, but I think I'm going to like him even better if I take my time and I do my best work coloring him. So I'm going to get started on that now and take a few minutes to do that. So if you want to, go ahead and take a little time to color your Iron Man. Well, my Iron Man is now in full color, and he's ready for his next big adventure. As you color your Iron Man, keep in mind he's had a lot of different looks over the years. He started out, he was all gray, then he was all gold, and now his armor is the red and gold that you see in all the Marvel movies. But every time that you see him, his armor changes a little bit. So you should color your Iron Man the way that you think looks best. I hope you had a good time working on your drawing. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to get together again. But until we do, stay creative, stay safe, stay Cougar strong. We'll see you soon.